today, let's see what's this. I'm gonna tell you guys a story I found online. Let's see. Okay. Where's my phone go? Well, as I look for my phone, once I read the entire story, it will be cool. This is gonna have some cussing words. Cuss warning. Yes, I am gonna swear. I am gonna swear because the story has some swear words in it. So the title is The Mr. Men Show, Blood. Hello, my name is Adam Wolfie. I'm a huge fan of cartoon shows. The shows I like to watch the most are Stuffs and The Mr. Men Show. But what if I told you that the last one I mentioned has an unreleased dark episode? I'm about to tell you about it right now. You see, since a lot of the cartoons I like aren't on TV anymore, I watch them on a website called Cartoon World. It features a lot of cartoon shows, including my favorite ones. Every episode of the cartoon shows were featured. It seemed to me a lot better than other cartoon show websites. One day while I was looking through episodes of the Mr. Men Show Season 2, I found this one, The Mr. Men Show Season 2, Episode 27, Blood. I couldn't believe it. I thought Pest was the last episode of the Mr. Men Show, but apparently not. I don't even remember hearing about this episode. I really wanted to watch it. When I clicked on it, it sent me to liveleak.com. If you don't know, it's a website that includes videos from the dark web. It showed the message that usually appears when you're about to watch a really disturbing video. Warning, thread the Mr. Men Show Season 2 Episode 27 Blood might contain content that is not suitable for all ages. By clicking on continue, you confirm that you are 18 years and over. I was confused. Why would an episode of a kid-friendly cartoon be here? Also, why would they add the mature content warning? Curiosity killed the cat when I clicked continue. It sent me to the video. The description didn't mention anything about this. No, I keep stuttering. The description didn't mention anything about the episode. Instead, it said this. And this video was originally gonna be the final episode of the Mr. Men Show. The creators had secret plans to make it an introduction to an adult party cartoon version of the Mr. Men Show, like Ren and Stimpy's fate was. But it was scrapped due to negative responses from test viewers. In other words, the original episode was too dark and disturbing to appear on Cartoon Network. If you're a fan of the Mr. Men Show, then you may be disturbed. If you watch this episode, viewer discretion is advised. Also, the video was different. Instead of having a screenshot of the episode with the play button in the middle, it was completely black with a red line of text in Comic Sans font saying, "Click me." I wanted to know why the episode was banned, so I clicked play on the video and began to watch. The beginning was fine, with the characters' faces flashing on the screen like a dance floor. However, nobody appeared in the rest of the intro, not even Mr. Tickle when he stretched his arms out. When the logo appeared, it was colored pastel red instead of orange and blue. The website wasn't joking around. Something was definitely wrong with the episode. The title card was black with a drawing of a heart, not the shape, the organ, and frog around it. With the word blood in the middle. The music was a low rumbling noise, like music you'd find in a horror game. Blood is a very important part of the Mr. and Little Mrs., the narrator explained as the scene began with a beating heart, which zoomed out to show a body with veins all around it. It helps to not only keep them alive, but also stay active. Nobody can live without it. However, if your skin is damaged, it could leak out of you like water. The narrator sounded a bit more serious than normal when he said those last words. The scene began with Mr. Grumpy sitting on a bed, crying. However, it didn't sound like him crying. It sounded like a real person crying. I could even hear whispering in the background. Then it suddenly cut to black for 30 seconds. After that, it showed Mr. Grumpy writing on a sheet of paper. He was speaking out loud as he wrote, "Dear all Mr. Men and Little Misses, I'm sorry for what I'm about to do, but I have to do it." Okay, so the rest of this part has swearing in it, so if you don't want to listen to it, I advise you don't. You just skip it. I've been stuck in the pit of hell, and I want you to know that you all caused it to happen. Little Miss Whoops, Mr. Scatterbrain, you fucking ruined my garden. You destroyed all my peach trees and put store-bought tomatoes, corn, and clocks on it. My garden, instead of planting fucking tomato corn and seeds. Just for that, you're both gonna deal with what I'm about to do to you. And Mr. Tickle, you fucking dumbass. You're always trying to tickle me no matter what I do. You have no respect over my feelings. But in some cases, you do like to be around me. That's not an excuse to save you from what I'm about to do to you. Little Miss Naughty, you fucking bitch. I fucking hate you so much. I'm sick and tired of your shitty pranksy pool. Your naughtiness is going to face what I'm about to do to you and the rest of you. I fucking hate you all and you're all assholes. Signed, Mr. Grumpy. I was shocked at this point. What did he mean by get ready for what I'm about to do to you? The next scene showed all the Mr. Men and Little Misses in the theater. Surprisingly, Little Miss Calamity was there too, even though she was removed from season 2. The scene then showed the movie screen, which was playing Mr. Men's show version of The Shining. Which was playing a Mr. Men's show version of The Shining. Suddenly, a knife came out of the movie screen and moved down, cutting a huge hole in the screen. Then Mr. Grumpy came out of the hole. His face was very closely detailed, like some of the faces in SpongeBob. Veins were visible in his forehead with blood coursing through them. His teeth were sharp and crooked in his eyes. Oh god, his eyes were the worst part. All of his veins were popping out and blood red. The bottom half was bloodshot, turning from a dark red to a sudden distinct red, where his mechanical pupils were. Yeah. Maniacal pupils were. And he had red irises, which seemed to be flowing with blood. "Get ready to die," he said in a demonic voice. The other Mr. Men and Little Misses began screaming and running around the theater. Mr. Grumpy jumped out the hole in the movie screen, and the scene suddenly turned into pure static. And then a test card pattern appeared, while a sign of wave was the only thing that could be heard. The color bars lasted for 30 seconds. The next scene that showed was horrible. If you've been in the slaughterhouse before, you've seen nothing. It showed all the Mr. Men and Little Misses horribly mutilated. Alright, if you don't like dark stuff, you're probably not gonna like this stuff, the rest of this. And if you've watched this show, you're not gonna enjoy this. And Mr. Happy was horrible. The sides of his mouth were cut all the way across his cheeks. His eye was dangling from his socket with hyper-realistic blood dripping out of it. His limbs were broken and twisted in unnatural angles, and his heart was cut out and laid in front of him with the stuff still hanging out of his chest. Little Miss Sunshine was killed in a similar way, but both of her eyes were pulled out and shoved down her throat. Her baguettes were cut off and lying in the pool of blood next to her, and her legs were chopped off. Little Miss Whoop's left arm and right leg were ripped off. Her glasses were broken, and blood was leaking out of the huge hole where her eye used to be. Her right arm was tied to a chain on the ceiling, and the blood was dripping out of her nose. The word Mr. Grumpy was here was carved into the wall next to her, and which is also the picture that is at the top. Mr. Bump's bones were crushed and his bandages were torn. His skull was smashed and one of his eyes were laying next to him, bloodshot and half squished. He looked like a pile of mashed up gore. He was a pile of mashed up gore. Mr. Tickle had an axe buried into his back. A pool of blood could be seen forming underneath him. His arms were tied in knots and upside down pentagram with the words, "Where's that tickle now?" around it was carved into his head. Mr. Scatterbrain's head was smashed open and his brains were splattered all over the floor. I kinda laughed when I realized it was a joke since his name was Mr. Scatterbrain. A toothless Mr. Stubborn was laying on the floor, frozen blue, dead. His teeth were buried into some kind of rotten carved stump. There were visible lacerations around his neck. His eyes were X-shaped, but not cartoony. They looked like stitches. Dirty brown leaves surrounded him. Mr. Fuzzy had a knife in his eye, and Mr. Messy was on fire with his left arm missing. Little Miss Chatterbox had a knife buried into her chest. Her skin was gray, her legs were ripped in half, and her eyes were missing. A pool of blood could be seen forming under her. Her stomach had blood stains in the form of the number 666. Mr. Quiet's stomach was ripped open and his guts were everywhere. Mr. Noisy had a chainsaw in his mouth. Mr. Bounce's head was sliced off. Little Miss Daredevil's stomach was ripped open and her intestines were cut up and pulled 5 feet away from her. Blood was draining from her stomach onto the floor. Mr. Strong's muscles were cut out and piled on top of him. How did Mr. Grumpy manage to kill him anyways? Little Miss Helpful was just dead, besides being covered in blood. I couldn't find any wounds on her body. Mr. Lazy was hanging on a noose. Blood was dripping from the deep splits in his face. Mr. Nosy was nailed to an inverted cross. His face was peeled off. His intestines were dangling from his split-open stomach. Mr. Small was floating in a boiling pot full of blood and little bits of organs. Pieces of Mr. Rude were slowly sliding off the wall. He was literally disintegrated. Blood, guts, and ruptured organ tissue stained the whole wall. It was smeared with nothing but bodily bits. Little Miss Naughty and Little Miss Scary's eyes were gone, and blood was oozing from the deep scratches on their faces. The Season 2 characters were all dead, with Little Miss Bossy's intestines used to hang her from a rack on the wall. Mr. Tall being repeatedly struck with a hammer. Little Miss Magic forever on fire with her skin melting and regenerating itself in an endless cycle. And Mr. Funny, Little Miss Curious, and Little Miss Giggle surrounded by flies and Little Miss Giggle surrounded by flies with Little Miss Curious organs completely out of her body. Mr. Nervous eyes were pitch black with blood dripping down them. Cuts in his body and his arms and legs chopped off. And Little Miss Calamity wasn't bloody or horrible, or horribly mangled as the others were. The word bitch was carved into her stomach, and it looked like her death was suffocation. Thank goodness, but it surprised me that Mr. Grumpy gave little Miss Calamity a more humane death than others. After a few seconds, it showed Mr. Grumpy completely drenched in blood. Boy, did that feel good, he said happily. Then the police came. Mr. Grumpy, you're under arrest. They handcuffed him and sent him to jail. The final scene was Mr. Grumpy in an electric chair. It turns on, burning him to death. He was then thrown onto a pile of decaying corpses, along with the rest of Mr. Men and Little Mrs. Fresh corpses. The credits had an eerie tune, and the background had the same fog from the title screen. When the credits stopped, it faded to black with its white text, which said, "The Mr. Men and Little Misses are dead. The show is over. Thank you for watching the final episode of the Mr. Men Show. Goodbye." An echoing high tune rang for about 12 seconds. After that, the episode was finally over. I didn't go back to watching the Mr. Men Show episodes on Cartoon World after that. That doesn't mean I'm done with them for long. I could still imagine Mr. Grumpy staring at me with his cold, angry, bloodshot eyes as I watched my other favorite cartoons. I didn't want him cutting me, tearing me to shreds, whatever he could do to end my life. I hoped that one day I would find more info about this episode. However, here's the real question. How did they get away with making such an abysmal episode? Yeah. Yeah. That's it. So, that only took me like only 17 minutes to read, so I'm gonna read another one. Oh. Let's put the box over. There's another one called The Mr. Men Show Tortured. This one isn't that long either. Hello, my name is Brian Ring. As you may know, I'm a big fan of cartoons such as Thomas the Tank Engine, Mr. Men, The Simpsons, Family Guy, South Park, etc. But here's a story I have. Once, while I was looking up on YouTube to watch the Mr. Men Show, I found this. The Mr. Men Show, Tortured. I was like, what the heck? Why would they make something like this? So I clicked on it, it began. It started with the normal intro that you'd expect, but the title card was so scary. The episode didn't start with a narrator telling you what torture was. It just started with the camera zooming into Dillydale. It was quite a normal day until little Miss Whoops bumped into someone's shadow. She looked up and, what? She saw me. I was like, what the heck? I'm in a Mr. Men's Show episode? And then I said, you're coming with me. And he took Miss Whoops to a torture chamber. Little Miss Calamity and Mr. Grumpy were there. Also, they were also there. And then I told her to watch Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story. Buzz Lightyear from Toy Story was inside a cannon, waiting to be launched to an electric fence. I got a pack of matches and then I launched him. And then Buzz said, "To infinity and beyond!" and got electrocuted and died. Miss Whoops was shocked. And just then Woody ran to Buzz, who was dead. And then he lifted Buzz's arms up and realized he was dead. Woody then started crying and he was furious with me for killing his friend. And then I spun him around. with his arms until they ripped off, and Woody was immediately dead. Miss Whoop started screaming, "Come here!" I yelled at her and then took her to a giant blender. In front of a building next to the electric fence was Buzz. Wait. Took her to a giant blender in front of a building next to the electric fence, where Buzz was electrocuted. "Hello, Miss Whoops," said Mr. Grumpy. Miss Whoops then told them, "Guys, you have to get me out of here." And I left them there while I throw Scrooge McDuck into a giant room full of gold coins, hung Mickey Mouse on a hangman's noose, and then said, "Alright, you're last," and threw Miss Whoops, Miss Calamity, and Mr. Grumpy into the giant blender and closed the lid and turned it on. These things are getting awesome. And then they started screaming even louder. Soon the blender was covered in blood. I was just about to leave when suddenly the police showed up. They said, "Brian, you're under arrest for murder." And there I was taken to jail. 3 days later, I was executed on an electric chair. And then after the scene with my grave, the credits started playing, but unfortunately the video was deleted from YouTube due to copyright, violence, blood, and gore. But I still remember that shocking video. Yeah, 21 minutes in, this has to be at least an hour long. Oh yeah, so, Mr. Man, Little Miss, oh, it's French and British. Alright, I'm gonna, give you guys some rituals. And Mr. Eyes rituals. The most dangerous games, Mr. Eyes. I had a hell of a time trying to find the original source of the game, known as Mr. Eyes. It's basically been scrubbed from the English language internet. I found it on a Indian site, and indeed, as I attempted to dig up more information about it, I mostly found it on Indonesian sites, even though it's a Russian game. And it turns out there's a reason it doesn't seem to exist in English anymore. It's not very good. I mean, the ritual itself is interesting, blah 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 blah. Alright. So the players, there could be either 1 or 2 players, but I'm just gonna read what's on here. So players, 1 principal, requirements, a mirror, a timekeeping device equipped with a timer function, a bathroom equipped with a bathtub, a pin or other sharp object capable of drawing blood. Instructions, the summoning. Begin shortly before 2 a.m. Bring your supplies to your chosen bathroom. Yeah. At precisely 2 a.m., set the timer for 2 minutes. Then stare into the mirror, keeping your eyes open as widely as possible the entire time. Do not blink. When the timer goes off, set the mirror aside. You may blink now. Fill the bathtub with as much water as it will hold. I can't read. Using the pin or other sharp object, prick your finger until blood appears. Hold your hand over the tub and allow the blood to drip into the water. Do not allow your hand to touch the surface of the water. Set the timer for 2 more minutes and stare into the water. In the tub again. Keep your eyes open as widely as possible for the entire time. Do not blink. When the timer goes off, one of 2 things may occur. If the water remains still, the summoning has failed. Do not proceed. Leave the premises immediately and do not return until daylight. When the sun has risen, you may drain the tub. If the water begins to bubble, look away from the water immediately. The summoning has succeeded and you may proceed, but you must act quickly. Do not look back at the water while it's bubbling. You may blink now, but keep your gaze averted. When the water has ceased bubbling, you may look back at the water. If you see nothing, Mr. Ice has decided not to play with you. Leave the premises immediately and do not return until daylight. When the sun has risen, you may drain the bathtub. If you see the image of a man, Mr. Ice has accepted your invitation to play. You may proceed. Drain the tub and break the mirror. Dispose of the pieces. The main event. Go about your daily life. As you do so, you will notice a constant presence nearby. You may see him directly in your field of vision. However, you might also just sense him hovering just out of sight, in the corner of your eyes, for example, or lurking in the shadows. You'll know it's him by his eyes, or perhaps more accurately by the lack of his eyes. But do not allow your gaze to linger on him for too long. 2. He'll follow you wherever you go. Let him. That's his goal in the game. 3. Your goal in the game is to outlast him, to survive until he's given up and gone home. Number 4. Do not fall asleep. That's how you survive. You stay awake for as long as possible. You may do so by any means necessary. The ending. The game is over when one of 2 things occur. Either Mr. Eyes decides it's over or when you fall asleep. If Mr. Eyes decides to end the game, he will fade from your view. You will no longer sense his presence. You will see his hovering in your field of vision. Congratulations, you have survived. If you fall asleep, when you awaken, you will see nothing but darkness. Well, I say see, but really what I mean is that you won't see. You fell asleep. You allowed him to take his prize, but take what comfort you in this fact. But take what comfort you can in this one fact. He'll take good care of your eyes for you. It won't be unthinkable for him not to. After all, he finds them so very, very beautiful. Additional notes. This game may be played with multiplayer. No, this game may be played with multiple players by making the following adjustments. Each player must have their own mirror and their own pin during the summoning. Step 2, all players should stare into their own mirror for 2 minutes. Step 5, all players should prick their fingers and allow their blood to fall inside the tub of water. Step 6 and 7, all players should stare into the water for 2 minutes. Avert their gaze if the water begins bubbling and look back at the water when it stops bubbling. In step 7, if Mr. Eyes decides to play, he will only appear in the water to the players whom he has oped to challenge. In step 8, all players must break their mirrors during the main event. Only players whom Mr. Eyes has decided to play sense his presence. The goal in this version is both to survive Mr. Eyes and to outlast your fellow players. Do not be the first to fall asleep. Avoid going near water for the duration of the game. Do not get into any boats. Do not go swimming or take a bath. Do not get caught outside in the rain. Do not, under any circumstances, stare at Mr. Eyes at any point throughout the game. And note for winners, be careful in the dark from here on out. Those who have won Wait. Let me let me restart that. Note for winners: be careful in the dark from here on out. Those who have won have described hearing footsteps echoing from the blackness, even when no one is there, and have also reported seeing the outline of a man in the shadows from time to time. He never approaches, but try not to fall asleep again. Try not to fall asleep until he leaves again. Mr. Oz doesn't like losing, and if he loses, he might find a way to take his prize from you away. Wow. So, apparently, we're gonna look for more rituals. Alright, so, yeah. Most dangerous game, summoning the red man. Previously, the television routine. Oh, what's that? The television ritual. As always, play your own risk. Players, one principle. Requirements: one television, power source, power source, a timekeeping device, optional. Instructions: begin at night. Clear your home of all other living creatures. Clear your home of all other living creatures. Turn off all the lights in your home. Make sure the television is plugged in, and then turn it on. Tune the television into a channel that receives nothing but static. The television is of a newer model and does not display Static. Tune it to the blue screen, or to any other channel that does not receive a signal. Turn the volume up as loud as you can bear, then turn it up louder. Repeat the following phrase out loud 3 times. I ask all those who roam the world manifest. Be silent. Wait. If the television turns off or powers down, do not proceed. Leave the premises immediately. Do not return until the sun has finally risen. See also, if anything should go wrong. If the television remains on, you may proceed. You may begin to hear hissing, whispers, or murmurs hidden deeply within the static. Do not be alarmed. Remain where you are. Do not leave. You may begin to feel slightly unwell. Do not be alarmed. Remain where you are. Do not leave. Speak the following phrase out loud once, and only once. I seek the one who guards the way. Please manifest. Begin to pray. Begin to pray. You may direct your prayers to whatever whatever concept or principle in which you believe. Should unusual sounds issue forth from or images appear on the television, do not allow them to distract you from your prayer. Oh, so basically if the television starts playing something, don't let it distract you while you're praying. There we go. Once you have completed your prayers, wait 6 minutes. If the television screen does anything other than turn completely white, the ritual has failed. Do not proceed. Close your eyes, pray, or sing as loudly as you can. Whatever you may hear, do not open your eyes. Continuing praying or singing, use your voice to drown out the sounds coming from the television, or at least the sounds which seem to come from the television. Pray or sing until the sound diminishes and disappears. See if anything should go wrong. If the television screen turns white, the ritual has succeeded. You may proceed. I thought this is kind of scaring me. And the main event. The main event. You may begin to hear a voice speaking from the television speakers. Listen closely. Repeat its words back to it as completely and accurate as possible. Repeat them as many times as necessary. While completing the main event, Step 1. While completing the main event. Step 1. Watch the television screen. If a series of numbers appears, take note of what they are. Do not forget them. Burn them into your memory, for they represent the date of your death. At this point, you may experience a sequence of visions. You may see images of those who have lived good and just lives. You may see humanity's past, or you may see its future. You may learn certain truths which reveal perhaps more than you might know, but which also reveal all that is necessary for you to know. If your eyelids begin to grow heavy, let them. If you struggle to remain awake, don't fight it. Let yourself rest. Let yourself sleep. Waking up. Wake up whenever you wake up. If the television is still on, all is not well. See also if anything should go wrong. If the television is off, all is well. Embrace the inner peace that you feel, and proceed with the rest of your life. You will enjoy great fortune from here on out. But do not lose sight of the date revealed to you on the television screen. The clock is counting down. Should you reach the end without having made the necessary adjustments to live a good and just life, whatever may or may not come for you after death will be unpleasant. Wait. Should you reach the end without having made the necessary adjustment adjustments to live a good and just life. Whatever may or may not come for you after death will be unpleasant. Additional notes. Concerning the day of the death, an odd concerning the day of the attempt. An odd-numbered calendar day is recommended if there has been rain or other things on that day. Do not proceed. Choose another day. Concerning the models of the television, a non-flat screen. Just don't do that on a flat screen TV. Like old TV is better. Not like an LG, but like, have you seen those like box TVs? Yeah, use box TVs for this if you want to do it. Time, you should go midnight. An odd numbered channel was recommended. If anything should go wrong, destroy the television. Destroy it completely. I'm gonna read the dry bone ritual. The dry bones ritual. It's been 2 minutes since I read something. La la la. Oh wait. As always, play at your own risk. Players, whatever, one person. Requirements: 1 bathroom, 1 mirror. There's flexibility here. The mirror over your bathroom sink will likely be the best option, but a hand mirror is also acceptable. I could probably do this one. Matches: do not use a lighter. Timekeeping device: this is technically optional, but highly recommended. The ability to keep time accurately is essential. Hold on. Before beginning, clear your house of people and pets. Make sure they know not to come back until the sun has risen the next morning. If the mirror isn't already in the bathroom, place it there. Make sure the matches are somewhere on your person. The same goes the timekeeping device it's using. The invitation: begin at 12:01 a.m. Securely close anything in your house that can open. Doors, closets, cabinets, etc. Everything. Turn off all the lights in your house, as well as anything that may make noise. Unplugging the noise-making devices is recommended. Enter the bathroom. Close the door behind you. Everything needs to be closed, remember? Face the mirror. If you hear anything unusual, do not proceed. Leave immediately. Exit the house. Go somewhere safe. Do not return until daylight. If you hear nothing out of the ordinary, you may proceed. Think of something you want. Think about it hard. Visualize it in your head if you can. Light a match. Let it burn out. If the match burns out in under 15 seconds, do not proceed. Leave immediately, go somewhere else. Boom, boom, boom. Don't return until the daylight. Yeah. The match burns for at least 15 seconds. You may proceed. Lie on the ground and speak the words. Alright, I'm sitting up for this. Have a nice life. I am aware of your presence. I welcome you into my home. Come now. Exit the bathroom, close the door behind you. Go into the biggest room in your house, close the door behind you. Wait, if you hear any other... Hold up. If you hear any other than a low moan and or a slight rattling noise, do not proceed. Leave, go somewhere else, go somewhere safe, don't return until daylight, etc. If you hear a low moan and or a slight rattling noise, you may proceed. Oh wait, if you hear anything other than a low moan and or a slight rattling noise, don't proceed. Please. But if you do hear a low moan or a slight rattling noise, you may proceed the game. Run, hide. Do it quickly and quietly. Stay hidden until 3 a.m. This is not as easy as it sounds. Don't let him see you. Don't let him hear you. Don't let him catch you. Farewell. At 3 a.m., return to the biggest room in your house. Close the door behind you, speaking the following words. Thank you for playing, but you must leave now. You are no longer welcome. At first, you do not hear any form of acknowledgement. Repeat the phrase until you do. You will know it when you hear it. Sleep if you can. When you awaken, return to your everyday life. Your prize should be forthcoming. Do not play this game again. Additional notes. Variation on the imitation exists. According to some versions of the game, you may therefore use the following imitation. Oh, but when you are summoning him, when you say, I am aware of your presence and I welcome you into my home, come now. You can also add, but not into my body, before the come now. It's for extra protection. Do not blow out the match. Let it burn out on its own. If you blow out the match, even accidentally, exit the area immediately. Go somewhere safe and do not return until daylight. After you enter the biggest room in your house, during step 9 of the invitation, be patient. The waiting period may last as few as 5 minutes or might take much longer. Concentrating your wish. Your wish will arrive to you reasonably quickly after the completion of the game. Some players have reported it being waiting on their doorstep for them as soon as the morning after. Your wish should be something that is realistically attainable. If you ask for something that defies the laws of physics, for example, you probably won't have much luck. Oh my god, I can't. Your wish should not involve bringing harm to another person. If does, he may decide the price of the wish is steeper than the one already paid. He's not in the habit of letting debts go unpaid. If you decide to play the game again, don't. You might have asked him to leave this time, but that won't prevent him from visiting again. And if he goes so far as actually inviting him again, it may not go so well. Follow them on Facebook at Ghost Machine 13. Yeah. Totally. 10 more minutes. Scary for kids. No. I wonder what story I should read next. Oh wait. That's a movie? The Midnight Man. The Midnight Game. It's also a movie. $10. Alright, I only have about 9 minutes to read this. The most dangerous games, The Midnight Man, la la la. Previously, The Three Kings. I'm gonna read some of this by myself. Players, at least one principal. Requirements, 1 candle, 1 lighter or book of matches, 1 piece of paper, 1 writing implement, 1 pen, 1 wooden door closed, and salt. I'm all out of salt. I'm not gonna cry. Alright, I'm gonna stop. Instructions. The invitation. Begin the prior to the... I'm gonna turn off the music. Hello. Instructions. Invitation. Begin prior to midnight. Write your full name, first, middle, and last, on a piece of paper with your writing implement. Prick your finger with a pin and squeeze until a drop of blood appears. Dot the blood on the paper and allow it to soak in. Turn off. Okay, hold on. Turn off every light in your home. Place the paper with your name and blood on it in front of the door, closed. In front of the closed wooden door. Light the candle using the matches or a lighter and place it on top of the paper. If you are using a taper, make sure it's placed in a candle holder. Knock on the door 22 times. The final knock must occur precisely when the clock chimes 12 a.m. Open the door, then blow out the candle, and close the door. Relight your candle immediately. The main event, keeping your candle in hand and your salt and matches or lighter close by. Begin to move about your home. Should your candle go out, you must relight it within the next 10 seconds. If you are successful, continue moving about your home. Do not stop moving until 3:33 a.m. If you are unsuccessful in relighting the candle immediately, surround yourself with a circle of salt. Remain inside the circle until 3:33 a.m. And the ending. At 3:33 a.m., it's safe to stop moving or to step outside your circle of salt. You may also turn off on the lights. The game is over. Additional notes. The midnight game may be played with more than one person. In this instance, all players are principals, such as each player must perform an invitation individually. So basically, it's when they invite the invitation welcomes as an entity known as the Midnight Man inside your home. The goal of the game is to avoid meeting the Midnight Man in the dark. Continually moving about your home will make it more difficult for him to find you. Should you stop moving at any point, he will catch you. Accounts differ as to what befalls players caught by the Midnight Man. Some claim he will include a hallucination of your worst fear until the end of the game. Others claim he will remove your organs one by one. Both outcomes are to be avoided at all costs. Indications that the Midnight Man is near include, but are not limited to, the following: sudden drops in temperature, the sound of a soft whisper with no discernible source, the appearance of a humanoid figure within the darkness, a candle going out. Should you experience any of the first 3 occurrences, leave the area immediately. Should you experience the 4th occurrence, Following the previously given instructions, relighting the candle within the next 10 seconds will keep the Midnight Man temporarily at bay. Should you fail to perform the action correctly, the circle of salt will do the same. Do not fail to do either. There are no known methods to abort the game. At 3:33, the Midnight Man will leave your home. After he has left, you may safely end the game. Do not turn on any lights during the game. Do not use a flashlight during the game. Do not go to sleep during the game. Do not use a lighter instead of a candle during the game. Do not use a person's blood other than your own during the game. Do not attempt to leave your house during the game. Do not attempt to provoke the Midnight Man during the game. And most importantly, do not assume that the Midnight Man has left your home for good at the conclusion of the game. Thanks. It's only 6 minutes. No. I'm gonna tell you about a cleansing ritual. No. Gonna end the video with a game of Fortnite. Yes, something you never thought might happen. I just took an hour break of reading, so you can't say nothing. Can't tell me nothing. I'm gonna need to change that. I like cleansing rituals. You see, I'm the type of person who would just like do a ritual for like no apparent reason. You're gonna be able to hear me. I'm on my phone. Oh wait, I forgot this. Should I say hi?
Let's have Fatal Fields. I think that would be the best spot for us. No, Fatal Fields. No,
I'm going Luggy.
Fatal. No, Fatal. Fine, there. Not there.
Not like that. I'm no pedophile. You sound like a young person. There we go. Enjoy your life before you turn into me. person who reads rituals to people. Ooh, I've struck 1 hour. They did add the flint knockback. I didn't know that. Die. Ha. Oh. Ouch. Oh wait. What the hell? That is dumb. Pop that. This boy finna die. Oh, this boy just took my flint knock lock. What the hell? Die already. Die. Oh! Ah! How about you grab our reboot cards? This is dumb. That dumb hoe. I mean.
I told you I was pretty good at the game. No one ever listens to me though.
This kid never said anything about being good at the game.
Be careful, okay?
A boy. Sounds like the younger version of me. And why
we need to leave now.
That's what I said after.
We need to leave. We need to get at least a white here.
Oh.
I told you Fatal Fields might be the best bet, but it's okay.
I don't care. Oh, blah, 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 blah. He sounds like a person who would play this game. Like, when he's 13, he sounds like a person who would play this game, like, every day. Like, don't turn into me, kid.
Just saying, we probably should head out now because we don't have much longer.
Yeah, we don't have much longer. He sounds like a kindergartner or something. I take care of my day. I told you this place is the best bet for us. So no, you wanted to land over there, yeah.
There's enemies here. I need your help.
Dude, I need you. Oh my god. So cute. Yo, bro, what did I say about playing on my PS4? Get off. You're even in... Oh my god. What if there was a girl playing?
Hey, Sam. I got 3 kills right now. I've carried my team the whole way. I got 3 kills. Only one of my teammates have 1 kill. And I've carried them.
And that's me. I'm the only one with 1 kill. Hey Sam, I have 3
But
kills.
I'm carrying them as in like
no one cares.
No, I'm not stealing their kills. They were all They were all almost dead and I saved them. No, I saved them, honestly.
I don't need a man's. I don't need a man.
I killed every enemy there was.
Yeah, oh, what the hell?
I killed more than one, almost a full squad.
Almost a full squad, buddy.
Unless you guys had a mic.
Sup, dude? Probably when he's older and he watches this video, he can be like, what the heck? I didn't know this person was live today.
We need to head up some.
Up?
Or else we won't make it to the next circle, I don't think.
Sounds like a cute and cuddly, like, first grader or something. Kindergartner, yeah, kindergartner. KG. Probably, oh wait.
Oh, I thought that was an enemy, bro.
Hashtag edits for days. I'm bragging with my edits, man. Your boy can edit, like... Everyone's over here. Yahoo!
Come back, though. Hey, come on, we gotta head to our teammate. Come on, let's get over here, guys.
I like how they, oh wait, wrong way.
There's enemies here, I need your help.
Enemies, you need our help? Oh, wow. There's enemies here.
We need to dip. Right once we get something that is important, we need to dip.
We need to dip. Oh, we need to dip. Oh my god.
Okay, come on, we gotta go, we gotta go.
Okay, well damn. I'm following him. Following our leader.
Right there, that's where we need to go.
We're in here. Oh. Oh, supply drop? You can tell me that he plays on Builder Pro. I mean, wait. Hey! Dang it!
Guys, y'all need to hurry up, come on.
It's only so far.
I have a launch pad, so if we're in the situation and where we need something, I've got a launch pad, okay?
A launch. Just more child. That's what happens when my controller dies. Ooh, looks like someone needed this. I mean, I could have waited to use that, but...
There's a place where a lot of enemies are gonna be, so we need to stay careful. And be careful, stay sharp, try not to die. No, camp right here, camp right here. This is a good spot to camp.
Look, but I'm going for the chest, though.
Not an enemy, not an enemy.
Like
that's what I was trying to point at.
Like that.
There's enemies, there's enemies. Come on, where are they? I can't find them. Come on.
You need help there.
There has to be at least one enemy here, guys. One spotless. Oh, heck.
Oh, heck.
I don't know who that was that shot at us, but whoever shot at us. Okay, welcome. Oh,
I need to.
I don't know who's shooting, but whoever's shooting. Hopefully it's not us. Hey, Alessandro, you might want to, you know, not do that.
Oh, there.
Okay, follow me. It's gonna help us get to the next circle. Enemies up ahead. Let's go! I got you! I got you!
Wow. Look, I am right here. Ah! Up on the hill. Oh, that's. Oh shit! I'm scared. Okay. Ah! What the fuck? No! Damn! But then I forget the LGBT. Yeah. I'm playing for like 12 minutes. 13 minutes. And then we play for
5 kills, bro. 5.
5? Oh.
5.
You mean you got 4 and I got 1? Anyways, oh yeah, that's right. I need to switch that. Better not forget the G and LGBT. No, better not forget the B and LGBT. Yeah. So, I don't usually put the loading screen. I usually just random it. Well, anyways, guys, see you in the next video. Bye bye.